listen to me. If you are still questioning your worth because of how someone treated you, this is your moment. The pain you survived was not proof that you are broken. It was proof that you are strong beyond what you ever imagined. I need you to hear this in your bones. What you went through was real. The confusion, the self-doubt, the way you started shrinking yourself just to keep the peace, the way you learned to walk on emotional eggshells. You didn't imagine it. You weren't too sensitive. You weren't asking for too much. You were asking the wrong person to treat you right. A toxic relationship doesn't just bruise your heart. It rewires your nervous system. It teaches you to apologize for existing. It trains you to abandon yourself to earn scraps of love. And then one day you wake up and you don't recognize the person in the mirror because your joy, your voice, your boundaries, they've all been slowly eroded. But here's the truth that changes everything. The part of you that survived that relationship is the same part of you that will heal it. You are not behind. You are not weak for still hurting. You are not failing because you still miss someone who hurt you. That is what trauma bonding does. It wires pain to love and chaos to connection. Healing begins the moment you stop asking, why wasn't I enough for them? And start asking, why did I stay somewhere I had to beg to be valued? That question is not shame. That question is power. Let me tell you what nobody says out loud. Leaving a toxic relationship doesn't instantly make you free. Sometimes it makes the pain louder. Sometimes it makes the loneliness scream. Sometimes it makes you miss the very person who was slowly destroying your spirit. And that confusion, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means your nervous system learned to survive chaos and now mistakes calm for danger. You weren't addicted to them. You were bonded to the version of yourself that kept hoping they would finally become who they promised to be. You fell in love with potential, with apologies that sounded sincere, with rare moments of tenderness that felt like oxygen after emotional suffocation. Your brain learned that relief after pain was love, so of course your body still aches for them. That's not romance, that's conditioning. And listen to me gently now. Missing someone who hurt you does not mean you should go back. It means your body is still detoxing from emotional trauma. You didn't just lose a partner. You lost the future you were building in your head. You lost the story you told yourself about how it was all going to turn out if you just loved harder, stayed softer, tried longer. So stop shaming yourself for grieving. Grief is not proof that they were good for you. Grief is proof that you invested your heart in something that mattered to you. Right now, your job is not to be over it. Your job is to be honest about what it cost you to stay. It cost you your peace. It cost you your voice. It cost you your sense of safety inside your own body. And the moment you stop romanticizing the pain is the moment your real healing begins. I want to talk about the moment you finally start to see clearly and how terrifying that moment actually is. Because when the fog lifts, when the denial cracks, when you admit to yourself, this was toxic, your whole body can go into shock. Not because you miss them, but because you realize how much of yourself you had to abandon just to survive that relationship. You start replaying conversations. Red flags you explained away. Boundaries you swallowed. Instincts you silenced. And suddenly the grief turns into rage. Rage at them for treating you that way. Rage at yourself for staying. And here's where I need to stop you with fierce compassion. That rage is not a failure of healing. That rage is a sign your self-respect is waking back up. You didn't stay because you were weak. You stayed because you were loyal. You stayed because you were hopeful. You stayed because you believed love meant endurance. You were doing the best you could with the emotional tools and trauma you had at the time. Self-blame feels productive. It gives you the illusion of control. If I cause this, I can prevent it next time. But it's a lie that keeps you trapped in shame. The truth is this: you were manipulated, gaslit, emotionally starved, and slowly trained to doubt your own reality. Of course you stayed. Your brain was trying to keep you safe in a dangerous environment. So when the memories hit you at 2 a.m. and your chest tightens with regret, don't spiral into what's wrong with me. Ask instead, What did I need back then that I didn't know how to give myself? That question doesn't break you. That question brings you home to yourself. I need you to understand this part because it will change how you see yourself forever. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before you learned to shrink, before you learned to over-explain, before you learned to apologize for your feelings, before you learned to read someone's mood just to stay emotionally safe. A toxic relationship teaches you hypervigilance. You become a nervous system on high alert. You scan tone shifts, you track facial expressions, you rehearse conversations in your head, you censor your truth to avoid conflict. You twist yourself into emotional origami just to keep the peace. And then you leave, but your body doesn't know it yet. So now you flinch when someone raises their voice. You panic when someone pulls away. You overgive when someone seems distant. You assume love is about earning. That's not your personality. That's trauma living in your muscles. You are not too much. You are dysregulated from surviving too much. Your work now is not to judge these reactions. Your work is to meet them with compassion. When you feel yourself people-pleasing, don't attack yourself. Say, I learned this to survive. Thank you for trying to protect me. When you feel yourself over-explaining, don't shame yourself. Say, I learned that my truth wasn't safe before. This is how you re-parent yourself. This is how you build safety from the inside out, not through force, not through discipline, but through tenderness, consistency, and radical self-honesty. You are not broken. You are adapting back into your original shape. And that is one of the bravest things a human being can do. Now, we talk about boundaries, not the Instagram kind, not the cute quotes kind, but the kind that feel terrifying to set because you were punished every time you tried before. A toxic relationship trains you to believe that boundaries are abandonment. That saying no makes you selfish. That protecting your energy makes you cruel. That asking for respect means you're too much. So you learn to over-give, to over-tolerate, to overstay, to over-explain. You learn to betray yourself just to keep someone else comfortable. Let me say this clearly because it might crack something open in you. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are doors with locks. They don't exist to keep love out. They exist to keep abuse out. A boundary is you saying, I will no longer participate in my own harm. And yes, when you start setting them, people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will call you cold, distant, selfish, dramatic, changed. That doesn't mean your boundaries are wrong. It means they can't access you the way they used to. Your nervous system will panic the first few times you say no. Your voice will shake. Your stomach will not. Your brain will scream. You're about to be abandoned. That's not intuition. That's trauma memory. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions at the cost of your own mental health. Every time you honor a boundary, you teach your inner child, I will protect you now, even if no one else did back then. And that promise, that's the beginning of real self-trust. Let's talk about trust, because after a toxic relationship, trust feels like a cruel joke. You don't trust other people. But worse, you don't trust yourself. You replay every decision you made and think, how did I not see it? How did I fall for that? How did I ignore all those red flags? And so now you second guess everything. Your instincts, your feelings, your desires, your boundaries, you tell yourself, my judgment is broken. No, your judgment was overridden by trauma, hope, and manipulation. There is a massive difference. A toxic partner doesn't just lie to you. They lie about you to you. They make you doubt your memory, your perception, your emotional reality. So, of course, you don't trust yourself right now. Your inner compass was deliberately sabotaged. But here is the reclamation. Every time you notice a red flag now and choose to listen to it, you are rebuilding self-trust. Every time you feel uncomfortable and don't talk yourself out of it, you are rebuilding self-trust. Every time you walk away from what feels familiar but unsafe, you are rebuilding self-trust. Self-trust is not built through perfection. It's built through protection. It's built when you choose your peace over your loneliness, your dignity over your desire to be chosen. your safety over your fear of being alone. You don't have to trust everyone again. You'd only have to trust this, that when something feels wrong in your body, you will not abandon yourself to keep someone else. That promise, that's how you become your own safe place. Now, I want to talk about grief, the kind nobody validates, the kind that makes you feel ashamed for still hurting over someone who hurt you. Because healing after a toxic relationship means grieving two deaths at once. You grieve the person you thought they were, and you grieve the person you became just to survive loving them. You grieve the fantasy, the future you imagined, the version of love you kept hoping would finally show up if you just stayed softer, tried harder, forgave more. And here's what breaks people: you don't just miss them. You miss who you were when you still believed it could work. That version of you was hopeful, tender, full of fight for love. So when people say, "Why do you still care?" They treated you terribly. They don't understand. You're not grieving abuse. You're grieving attachment. Your nervous system bonded to the highs and lows. Your heart bonded to the rare moments of closeness. Your soul bonded to the story you were living inside. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. Grief comes in waves. Some days you feel free and light. Other days you feel like you're back at day one. That's not regression. That's integration. Every wave of grief is your body releasing another layer of what it held onto to survive. So stop rushing your healing. You are not late. You are not doing it wrong. You are not broken because you still cry. You are metabolizing heartbreak, and that is holy work. I want to talk about solitude, because after a toxic relationship, being alone can feel more terrifying than being mistreated. You were conditioned to believe that any connection was better than no connection. That silence meant abandonment. That loneliness meant failure. So you stayed in chaos because at least chaos felt like company. And now you're alone with yourself, with your thoughts, with your memories, with the echo of who you used to be before you learned to disappear. And this is where most people run back. Not because they miss the abuse, but because they don't yet know how to be with themselves without pain. But listen to me gently. Solitude is not your enemy. Solitude is your sanctuary. This quiet is where your nervous system finally exhales. This space is where your identity starts growing back. At first it feels empty, then it feels unbearable. Then, slowly, it starts to feel like peace. You begin to notice what you like again. What makes you laugh? What makes you feel alive? You start making choices without fear of punishment. You rest without guilt. You speak without bracing for backlash. This is not loneliness. This is decompression. You are shedding a skin that was never meant to be yours. And yes, some nights you will ache for a body beside you, for familiarity, for the illusion of safety. But don't confuse withdrawal with love. You are not alone right now. You are finally with yourself. And that reunion, that's where your real life begins. Now let's talk about freedom. The kind that doesn't come with applause, the kind that feels both exhilarating and terrifying, because leaving a toxic relationship doesn't just free you from someone else. It frees you from the version of yourself that believed abuse was normal. It frees you from self-betrayal. It frees you from fear masquerading as love. Freedom doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It whispers. It starts with small choices, choosing peace over drama, boundaries over approval, self-respect over fear. You will notice it in the way you sit in a room without explaining yourself. You will feel it when you say no and don't collapse under the weight of guilt. You will see it when you notice the difference between intimacy and dependence, between love and survival. And yes, freedom comes with grief. Freedom comes with anger. Freedom comes with fear, because you are shedding the last threads of a story that once defined you. But here's the truth that will anchor you. Freedom is not chaos. Freedom is clarity. It's trust in yourself. It's a body, mind, and heart that finally remember how to breathe without apology. Every time you reclaim a piece of yourself, your voice, your boundaries, your joy, you are building a life that no one else can define. And every day you stay true to yourself, you are reclaiming the life that was always yours to begin with, you will feel strong, soft, scared, and brave all at once. And that is the signature of someone who survived and is now thriving. Now, if you're ready, tomorrow you wake up lighter, not because the past disappears, but because it no longer controls you. Your freedom is waiting, and it is magnificent. This is your declaration: I am no longer defined by the ways someone else treated me. I am no longer bound by the fear, the shame, or the confusion that was forced onto me. I am reclaiming my body, my voice, my time, my heart, every part of me that was surrendered to survive. I will not shrink anymore. I will not apologize for needing love, for needing respect, for needing myself. I will honor my boundaries, protect my peace, and nurture the tender, wounded parts of me that were taught to hide. I will grieve what was lost, yes, but I will not live there. I will embrace the fullness of my own life, my own joy, own power. My own power. I will choose myself every single day, even when it feels scary, even when it feels impossible, because freedom is not about escaping the past. It is about showing up for your own life, fiercely, fully, unapologetically. And today, right now, in this moment, I step into that freedom. I am enough. I am worthy. I am healed, and I am healing. And with that truth, I am finally gloriously free.